Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel, Bears podcast by Bears fan. I'm your host Terry, and today I'm doing a little trade scenario. So I told myself not to do this, man. I already know I'm about to get just roasted over this, but yeah, it's late. I figured I'd do it anyway. So as I mentioned before, prior to the whole Kyle Fuller situation, I was thinking about putting out a series of proposed trades and whatnot the Bears could make, just see, have some fun, see what you guys thought about it. And a lot of them had to do with Kyle Fuller. But since Kyle Fuller signed to this contract, or at least the Bears offered the contract, I figured, I should probably just leave it alone. And this is why I shouldn't do trades, because I don't know what day the Bears are going to make a move, and then my trade makes no sense. But whatever, I'm going to do it anyway because I still think this could work. So here is the trade I'm proposing. I want to trade Kyle Fuller and our 4th round pick to the Washington Redskins for outside linebacker Preston Smith, the Redskins 4th round pick, and also their 6th round pick in this year's draft. So, effectively switching, or swapping 4th round picks with the Redskins. They move up a handful of spots. We move back a handful. And then we also pick up an extra draft pick with their 6th round. Okay. So that is the trade. Now, why I want to do this trade, kind of from the Bears standpoint, and why the Redskins, should take it. Let's go down the line. So, number one, again, this made a lot more sense for me when Kyle Fuller was just on a tag for 1 year. But I don't think the contract changes the player. I still think he's a guy who's a question mark, who has a lot of value right now because what he did last season. But every bad snap he has next season is just going to decrease that value. So while he definitely showed his talent, while I believe he has talent, again, I've always said that's not a top flight cornerback to me. And so there's potential to attack that position in other places down the line. So I figured we would use his value to our advantage and get somebody else that we feel can make a bigger impact. And outside of receiver, cornerback, the biggest thing we were missing coming into the offseason was pass rush. Now we know we got Allen Robinson, Taylor Gabriel, hopefully Cam Meredith coming back. We know the receiving core is looking a little different. We brought Prince Amukamara back, who is very rock solid as a vet. And so we're not desperate at corner as we were, but we still don't have the outside linebacker despite Aaron Lynch and whatever. Outside of Leonard Floyd, we don't have a big time presence. And that's something the Bears have always been lacking. We talked about it before. Pass rush is something we've been lacking a long, long time. So my proposal is to get a guy who I was in love with coming out of the draft, admittedly, but somebody who I think has shown the ability to translate those talents to the league. Preston Smith out of Mississippi State. To this point, I don't think he's burst on the scene quite yet, but has really shown himself to be, very strong, as a pass rusher and a run stopper. Somebody that I think has the combination to, as I said, affect the game in both the run and pass situations, and someone who's just on the rise. So a guy that if you want to look for comparison, is on the same, year his contract is Jordan Howard. So this season and then next season is left before his contract is up. So of course with the option, but this is the time right before he makes his big payday. And if he is to do what we think he will do, I think he'd be well worth the money. So one guy that you really could compare him to, I think, is another guy I like, and that's Green Bay Packers outside linebacker Nick Perry, who didn't get his chance until later in his career. But you see the type of money he made. That's type of money I think Preston Smith is going to command in the open market, a little higher with inflation. But I would say, though, his production to this point has been higher than you saw from Nick Perry. And so even though he is able to play against the run, I think he's shown that he has effective power as a pass rusher too. So when you're talking about having Leonard Floyd come back from injury and the question marks of what he might be, this is a guy that could put some juice to that as well. So looking at Preston Smith real quick, and I thought I knew the numbers, so I was right. So 8 sacks in his rookie year and 8 sacks in his past year, and then 4.5 in his sophomore year. So altogether 20.5 sacks, not bad at all. And again, as I was saying, Nick Perry, who got paid decent money for the Packers, and I was hoping the Bears would get him in the free agency. We didn't. But this guy, Preston, has more sacks than him. And the bonus part is I think he's a better run defender. So, if you don't know about Preston, you could definitely go look him up. I'm not about to break him down, but 6'5", 265, a load on the outside, but also with enough athleticism to rush the passer. And as I said, you got 2 more years on that rookie contract before you got to make that decision. If you want to lock him up early after this year, that works too. Now, as far as the Redskins, man, you got Alex Smith that you just traded for, veteran quarterback. So obviously you thinking you want to make a run right now. And while there's weapons on the offense, the defense is a little depleted. You got Rashard Breeland, who I still don't think is that great, but he's out the door, long gone. Then you got Kendall Fuller, who was on the uprise, but then you traded him away to get Alex. Then you got D'Angelo Hall, probably one of your older stalwarts, moved to safety, and now he's gone. So they really need help at corner. I thought making a deal with Kyle Fuller that you liked was appealing, but I would still say the deal that Kyle Fuller is on right now as far as contract is still appealing as well, especially for a team devoid of corner. And so I think bringing in Kyle Fuller with a deal in place isn't as attractive, but it's still a good option for a team, especially on defense, that really needs somebody solid in that secondary. And so I think it's a win for them, definitely. It would be nice to have the Fuller brothers together. But, you take one Fuller out and you upgrade to another. So I think you would be sitting pretty decent with there. And then you got Ryan Kerrigan, of course, as one of your pass rushers. And a whole host of bodies. They got some Bama boys, all these type of people they bring in for that attacking 3-4 defense. So Preston Smith, while a great player, I think you are getting decent value in return. So for me, it works out, as I said, swapping 4th round picks just to make it a little sweeter. 4th round picks, are still decent value. You move up a couple spots for the Redskins. You do give up a 6th round pick in the back end. But hey, that's the price of doing business, especially, now the debate, of course, becomes which one is more, valuable, corner or pass rusher. And that's something that each person could have. But I think this is a deal that actually works out for both parties, not really trying to scheme anybody. But I think Preston Smith gives us an immediate force, whether Leonard Floyd is there or not. If Leonard Floyd comes back healthy, then you're talking about a lot of pressure taken off of him in pass rush situations. And while we did have a heavy rotation before with Pernell McPhee and all those guys, I think having Preston, you're going to have a guy that can be on the field the whole entire time, is a straight dog, and will bring a level of toughness to that offense, to the defense that we have right now. And then, of course, you'll have some people say, well, that's another hole at corner. Again, I mean, we could talk about draft, but at number 8, I think you ripe, either there or trading back to get you a defensive back, because this is a draft with a lot more defensive backs than there are pass rushers, especially anybody of Preston Smith's caliber. So that's my proposed trade. Again, I already know. I can see the negative side. I can see some people being on my side too, but go to the comment section. Let me know. That's what this is all about. Tell me what you think. Start that conversation. Thumbs up, subscribe, share it around. Remember, stay up and bear down.